Season 4 of Modern Warfare 3 ranked play is here, and they buffed a lot of guns, so I got y'all with the new meta setups that will help you climb the ranks. Which I am iridescent, and it's my job to play the game, so rest assured you're gonna have the best setups. So for the first gun that we are gonna be going over, this is gonna be the MCW. This thing just got a pretty big buff. Previously, the headshots didn't matter because the headshot multiplier was 1.1. Now the headshot multiplier is gonna be 1.25, making headshots pretty viable. Make sure you go for at least one headshot in your gunfight so you'll have a little bit of a faster time to kill. You guys can see this build got absolutely no recoil, although it might be a little bit tough to use, so I got a variation if you're like platinum and below, and or if you just like your guns having no recoil. This one we are going to be adding the L4R flash hider. This is just going to add a lot of recoil control without really hurting the weapon at all. I see some people running the compensated flash hider. This one is good, but I found that the weapon is a little bit easier with the L4R flash hider. Then for the barrel, to increase the overall hit scan, if you add the Cyclone long barrel, it's going to increase the bolt velocity to about 840 meters per second, giving you hit scan around like 45 meters. Basically, it's going to feel like you're playing on a better ping. It's also going to increase that damage range and add recoil control. You also get aim and idle stability, making it easy to hit that first shot. And when you hit the first shot, you do get instant aim assist, making the gun actually have less recoil. So this is a must-have attachment on the gun. Yes, we are going to be losing aim walking speed and sprint to fire speed, but we are bringing that back with the DR6 hand stop. This one isn't going to give you any recoil control, but you do get the mobility and the handling, allowing you to really take advantage of those if you are a decent player. Phantom 5 is also a very good option. You're going to get the benefits of the handling, but then you also get a lot of recoil control, making the gun a little bit easy to use at long range. And so if you aren't the best, or just in general you want no recoil, run the Phantom 5. If you don't care about sprint to fire speed, like if you really don't move around the map, then I definitely would run the F-Tech MSP 98 hand stop, so then you get the mobility increase as well as the recoil control. Make sure you always strafe in your gunfights. This is going to allow you to strafe very quickly, and so now you'll be a harder target hit, and you activate that rotational aim assist a little bit easier. For the optic, you actually don't need to run an optic. You could go ahead and add maybe the precision heavy or the Warforged. With the precision heavy, you might have to run the DR6 hand stop underbarrel, just because this one does hurt that mobility by a decent amount, but you know, you do get the firing aim stability, aiming out of stability. It actually reduces the recoil by a ton. Warforged, also a very underrated stock. Definitely check out those if you do like the iron sights on the gun. For me, I just would rather run an optic. Then for the rig up, we are going to be adding the RB Claw. This is nice because you get the recoil control without really hurting the weapon at all. Yes, we're losing aim and auto stability, but we get that back with the barrel, and so now the gun should be a whole lot easier to use. This is the pro player build, and just the build that I really like, and what you'll see all the iridescents rocking. By the way, are you hard stuck in rank play and want to boost? Then I would check out my long-term sponsor Guapsi. They will play in your account to legitimately boost up your rank, and they can also unlock anything you wish on the game. You can scour the internet and you won't find a single negative review. I'll have their link in the description. For the secondary, I actually got two different Renetti classes, and I'll explain that in a second. This one is just gonna be my, go-to one. It has a little bit of range, but also mobility and recoil control. Been really liking this Renetti. And then for the rest of the stuff on this class, we got the sticky grenades or the frag, kind of depends on the map you're on. And then stuns. Smokes are good for search and destroy if you want to, take control of a objective or try to bait the enemies, or if you get caught in a sticky situation, you can smoke yourself out and then run away. Trophy systems typically is going to be the best one for an AR, but you can run the dead silence with the lightweight boots, so then you can move around faster, and then when you do want to be stealthy, you can pop over the dead silence. Marksman gloves are usually a must if you are running an AR. Just reduces the sway and flinch when the enemies shoot at you. Then I usually run the EOD, since people are always chucking nades at you when you are an AR player. You guys can see right here, I have a MCW fast and a regular. The fast one has the lightweight boots. This is going to allow me to get from point A to point B a whole lot quicker, so I use it as my first life in the game. Get to the objective, I die once, then I'll swap back to this one. Next gun we are for the Renetti. So this is going to be my fast Renetti. I still rock this on my main MCW class. It's just this one is a little bit tougher to use, but you move around so much faster, so definitely try out that one. Next gun that we are going to be going over, this isn't a meta, but it kind of is meta. Next gun is going to be the Rival or the Striker 9, which are actually meta. This is the WSP9. It just got a damage range buff to where this thing is actually an AR in the game. Like, I really want to build an AR version of the WSP9 and see how well I can do in rank play. This is just going to be a very balanced build. Definitely give this thing a go because they've been buffing it by a ton. It does have a lot of recoil, which is why we got the compensated flash hider. This is going to eliminate all that bounce off the gun, making it so much easier to use. For the underbarrel, to increase that mobility, I got the DR6 hand stop. Just move around the map, pull up the gun after sprinting a whole lot quicker. If you look at that sprint to fire speed, it's going to be 60 milliseconds. It's actually around like 95, because I believe the open bolt delay, basically when you pull the trigger, there's going to be a delay of about 35 seconds. So you add that on top of the sprint to fire speed, so it's around actually like 97 milliseconds, and that's another reason why we got the DR6. I really don't like the iron sights, so I got an optic on here, but if you like the iron sights, you could honestly run one of the barrels. You could increase the damage range even more. Maybe you want to move around a little bit quicker, so you want to add the short. The Reckless 90 is probably my go-to if I were to run a barrel. Yes, we're losing sprint to fire speed, but it's you know, still at least below 100 milliseconds, so it's still pretty viable. This stock is actually a must. Like, if you don't run this stock, you're so faded. This thing adds gun kick control and recoil control. We're losing a little bit of our ADS speed, but it's only 5%, and look how much recoil control we get. Like, it makes the gun so easy to use to where you actually can run the iron sights pretty easily with this gun. And then lastly, just to increase that recoil control a little bit more, we got the Marauder. I guess if you are a little bit better, you could run the WSP TAC 20. It's just the gun's very satisfying with the Marauder, but you can pull up the gun a little bit faster with the WSP. Kind of depends on your skill and stuff like that. Overall though, I feel like most of you guys are gonna like this build right here. And then for the secondary and everything, it's just gonna be the same as my MCW fast class. Oh, I guess we have the assault glove, so you can jump ADS a little bit quicker. And next up, let's go over Scump Striker 9. Rival, by the way, got a buff, and I got a class for that. So this is gonna be Scump Striker. There's a lot of good strikers out there. This is just the one that I been really rocking. It's kind of fun to use, like, you know, other creators builds. And I believe he actually has the F-Tech MSP, because this thing has a lot of vertical recoil. It doesn't have any horizontal. So yes, we're losing horizontal, but you're not going to notice that whatsoever. You're only going to notice how much vertical recoil control we're getting. This is also going to allow you to strafe pretty quickly. The sprint to fire speed is actually faster than the Rival 9, so that's why Scump isn't running the DR6 or the Phantom 5. You already can pull up the gun faster than you could with the Striker. I mean, than you could with the Rival, and so now you can get the benefits of moving around the map quicker and strafing quicker, making it easier to activate that rotational emphasis. Again, we got the Zen composite flash. How do you kind of see everyone rocking this? Some people do like the Purifier, but I think the composite is a lot better. Yes, this thing just got a damage range buff, but you know, might as well increase it even more, make it so it's a little bit more viable against the MCW range. Since the MCW is a lot stronger now, this is actually going to play a big impact on the weapon. Also increasing the ball velocity, just making so, you know, you have an increased hit scan range. And then for the stock, we got the Correlacious Assault stock. I honestly prefer the priority, so I can move around a little bit quicker, but you know, Scump, the king of Call of Duty, he likes the Correlacious Assault stock, however you say that. Gives you recoil gun kick control, just removing all the shake. I think this one's a little bit better. I am the class guy, so I still believe this one's better, but you know, if you want Scumps, run that one. And then lastly, just to increase the recoil control, we got the Socken ZX grip. What you guys can do is take off the rear grip or take off the underbarrel. For me, I'd probably take off the rear grip. Then you can add an optic. If you add the Niter model, you'll be surprised how little recoil and how easy this thing is to use, but this is going to be typically the best one since the iron sights aren't that bad, and now you get the recoil control with basically having no cons at all. Right about the burp, and here's the class if you guys want that screenshot. Now for the next gun we are going to be going over, this is going to be the Rival. So the Rival actually just got a buff. They basically just made it so all the guns kill a little bit quicker, which honestly, in my opinion, I think that's a lot better. This class, you guys can see, no recoil whatsoever. You know, it's just brain dead easy, which makes sure you always strafe in the gunfight. Like, that gives you rotational aim assist, and that's kind of how I track the enemy. I don't really use the right stick too much. I just track the enemy with my left stick. Right there, I missed all the shots because I missed the first shots. You need to hit the first shot if you want to beam across the map with the Rival, and that's how you see the pro players doing that. They hit their first shot. So for the muzzle, still got the Purifier. Muzzle just eliminates all that side-to-side bounce, giving you only vertical, and vertical is pretty easy to control, and that firing aim stability does help you with the vertical. Compensated flash hider, I feel like this one's actually a lot better. It's just banned in the pro league, and so a lot of players in ranked play copy what the pros run, and so compensated, I feel like you guys will actually like that one a little bit more. We do got the Rival C clear shot barrel still, just to increase that range and the bullet velocity, and just overall make the gun a whole lot stronger. Yes, we're losing mobility and our handling, but we are going to be getting that back with an underbarrel called the DR6 hand stop. Again, if you do want more recoil control, definitely run the Phantom 5. You do have to run the Phantom though, just not the MSP, because the sprint to fire speed is going to be 113 milliseconds. Without that, it's like 122, so you actually have to run the Phantom or the DR6 hand stop, so you can bring up the gun a little bit faster after sprinting. For the rear grip, run the Rival Vice Assault grip. Some people do like to run an optic on the Rival, but I do not recommend that at all. I think it's so much better if you just run the iron sights and get used to that. Then we want the Marauder stock on here. I still see people running the close quarters. You don't want this because you don't get firing aim and stability. This one gives you firing aim and stability and aiming auto stability, which the aiming auto stability does make it a whole lot easier to hit that first shot. Yes, there are a lot of cons with this one, but a lot of this build was to mitigate these cons, and you'll see the gun's a lot easier to use with the Marauder. All that said, that is going to wrap it up for the Rival 9 class and basically the whole video. I do have a fast Rival. Again, if I'm on an invasion control, I want to go capture A very quickly. I'm going to use the fast one. After I die once, I'll swap it back over to the covert sneakers. And with all that said, that is going to wrap it up. If this video was helpful, leave a like, subscribe with the noties on, and deuces.